Hey, flower friends, it is your friend in flowers, Lisa Mason Ziegler, and thanks for dropping in here this evening. I am here tonight to take you on a little tour inside Flower Farming School, into my course, The Basics, and also into Dave Dowling's course, Perennials, bulbs, woodies, and more. And tonight is the last night for our big bundle offer that we have brought out. And it's the best ops special that we have offered in many years. We put both of our classes together for one low price. And we've just been getting particularly questions from people that have never taken online courses before, and I so understand that. I remember when I took my first online course back in 2016, I just couldn't imagine how it worked. And so that's why I'm going to take you on a little tour tonight. But before we jump into that, just a couple of things that I wanted to actually just mention here. You know, Flower Farming School was born from I was traveling and teaching flower farming, going all over the United States, teaching at conferences and meetings and clubs and just all kinds of organizations, and love doing it. Teaching is definitely my jam. I love helping other people, especially people that were like me that thought you could never do this. I was, y'all, barely a gardener living in the middle of the city when I discovered flower farming was something you could actually do as a career and a business. And I just didn't think I could do it. And I did. And that's, I love helping everybody, but I particularly love helping those people that really feel like I could never do that, but I would love to. So I'm your girl, if that's you. So traveled around and taught huge groups of people. And the real challenge came that after you spend, let's say if you spend a day at a conference teaching people, and then people have questions a day after or a week after, you really, as a teacher, cannot respond to hundreds of emails individually. There's just not enough time in the day, right? And you have a job. And so I wanted to create a way to help teach people, but also to provide a way for instructors to stay connected to their students. And we've done that with private communities for all of our students, for our different schools. And that's a really big piece of what we offer in our courses, because let me tell you, I just not long ago took a business course, which was a big investment, a big deal. But the support group, the student group that you have with the course is only there for 6 weeks after you finish the course. Well, I'm telling you, it's 6 months later when you're applying all this stuff that you really get questions, right? And so that's why our student support communities are indefinite. You can stay in there as long as you want, and you get the support of the other students as well as your instructor, and you can ask questions in there. So Flower Farming School was born. My course is called The Basics, Annual Crops, Marketing, and More, and it's really about it's bridging that gap from people that are gardeners or avid gardeners, making that transition to actually building a working cutting garden, starting a business, figuring out how, what you grow and how you grow it and who do you sell it to and how do you harvest it. The real basic cobblestones that you're going to build your business on. And we do that on growing annuals. Why? Because they are low investment, high return. The biggest bang for your buck comes from annuals. And there's no better way to learn what you're doing, how to farm. You have to really take your gardener glasses off and put your farmer glasses on, because if you go the bridge and make the transition and actually become a commercial cut flower grower, you will realize it is nothing like gardening, y'all, because this is what happens. A lot of us slide in through the back door. We're a gardener. We love what we're doing. We hear about flower farming and we think, shoot, I can just grow more of what I'm doing. It's just not that simple. But even more importantly is you will kill yourself doing so many chores and things that just aren't necessary in flower farming. And we just do things very, very different, as you do in every profession, right? So that's kind of how flower farming school was born. And then after I had my first 2-year classes go through my course, they were starting to reach out to say, hey, we're doing this now. You're right. We're selling flowers. This is working. We want to grow more stuff. We want to grow perennials. We want to bring bulbs. I want to grow tulips and dahlias and ranunculus. And that's when I tapped my good friend and co-speaker at many of the conferences, Dave Dowling, to come on board and to create a course. And we did that. And so my course and his course are like natural companions. You don't have to take them both, but they're natural companions. My course is where you really get in, you really do the stuff that nobody wants to face, literally in the very first big class. The business stuff, the insurance, what do you need to do? Where do you go? And all that kind of mess, right? And get it out of the way. And then you go on to really start building your work and cutting garden. And, it just is the next natural step after you've got a season under your belt and you've made a little money. That's when you start investing in perennials and woodies and bulbs potentially. And then to know exactly which ones to buy and how you're going to grow them and which ones you should start with. So with that, Dave's class and my class just naturally fit together. Right? So I am going to take you into each of the classes, and then I'm going to take you over to the bundle page because, friends, I want to just mention to you over on the bundle sales page, if you're interested and if you're on the fence, you really need to go over there after we've ended this and take a look at the sessions, which I'm going to give you a little look into, but you can watch the full session over on the bundle page, but also the student testimonials, to hear what other people, how it has affected them. And we've done some lives with Daniel Shavy of Petal Pickers. Nicole Pitt of Flower Farm Hill in New York is one of our first students. We have so many people that are doing it. And this bridge that we're offering you just takes you over many, not all, but many of the speed bumps and the mud puddles, help you not miss the turns, and just walk with you. And that's really, Dave, like myself, we just have really passionate teacher hearts. And we are even more passionate about grow and cut flowers and do it efficiently and profitably. And that's what we share in our courses. So if y'all are ready, I am going to take you, let me tell you just two or three other little things. Just the bottom line to our courses is when you purchase an online course from us, you get immediate access to the full course. Okay, so it'll all be in your library. You have lifetime unlimited access. That means that as long as you have access to internet and you can get your login, you can log in and you can watch sessions as many times as you want. And then next year, when you're facing a new problem, you can come back to your course and go in and it is still sitting there ready and waiting for you. The most important thing is they are self-paced. That means that, I know you're thinking, oh my gosh, we're in high season right now, or I'm heading into it, or I'm overwhelmed. You don't have to dive into the whole thing. First off, you own it for life. So you can do it self-paced. What we recommend to people is right now, because they're keyword searchable, that you can actually use it as a tool right now to help you get over humps and bumps that you're facing right now. But to make a plan that this winter that you go through the courses from beginning to end, commit 4 to 5 hours a week to studying it just like you would a class, because when you hear much of what's in there, you realize how much you do not know what you do not know. You don't even know what to ask and look for until you listen to the classes. And that is pretty priceless. And our instructor supported communities is pretty dang amazing. Sorry, y'all, I'm just looking at my notes. So back to the beginning. So there's my course and there's Dave's course. Normally they're $695 each, which is, that's a lot of money. I understand that, but that is a BB in the Astrodome compared for business for the mistakes you're going to avoid, and the potential money you are going to create because of these courses. I can promise you, if you apply them, you are going to get returned tenfold easily right out of the gate with these courses, right? Where was I looking? And so the bundle special is, so that's $6.95 each. I'm sorry, y'all, something's got in my nose. $6.95 each is regular price. Normally, the two of them together would be $1,395. Friends, we have bundled them, and we have made them $995 for both of our courses. Lifetime access to our student communities, ongoing, which means when you have access to us to ask questions, that means if you don't find it in the course, you just ask the question in the community and tag us. And we actually have a team member that's always in there swimming, looking for those questions in case we miss them. So with me saying that, let's just take a look and go inside. And y'all, I am not Miss Technology, so just give me a second. So first, we're going to go into my course, and that is the basics. I believe it's this one. Nope, that's Dave's. Here we go. All right. So I'm actually going to take us back. I want to show you just a little segment. We're going to go back after we watch this and look around in the course. But this is one of the sessions. There's typically 6 classes in each of our online courses, but each class has multiple sessions, and this is just one of them. So this is the irrigation session that's here, and let's just take a little short look. And I am going to come back over here and bring it up,
down,
and I'm going to do it
debris and
full
dirt can get into
screen.
those. So that's an important thing.
And
So this line right here is what's called the header. And this is what actually runs to your water source. And we are going to hook each bed into this header. While we're talking about headers, a huge thing for me is getting our header in and making it so it's not a trip problem all season, as well as how do you maintain it. I use several different things. We've mulched with straw underneath this one. Sometimes I use landscape fabric. You'll see a photo of that. So let's see about hooking this up. So this stuff just really cuts easily. And they make several different types of fittings that you can get. This one just hooks this line directly into the main line, or for a little bit more money, which I think is definitely worth it, this hooks it into the line, but it has a valve. So let's just say you want to rip this bed out, but not the beds on both sides. You can turn the water off, disconnect all this, put in a new bed, and then hook it back up. So definitely worth it. And so this is a hole puncher. And I will tell you, I've had this one since I started. This is literally 20 years old, and it still works. And I will show how I do this, because some people really have a problem with this. Key things for me: I have to wear, we love Atlas gloves. They have such a great grip, and you don't feel like you have anything on. Trying to do this barehanded is the problem for many people. This allows you to really grip. So I'm just going to make a hole with the punch. I find being on the back side, and I'm right-handed, pushing really hard. And so I hold it and punch a hole. Usually I just do it a couple times. And then I grab. So this is the end that goes in here. It's amazing it fits in that little hole. And do you hear it snap in? And it's all about me being my right hand with power. And so we need to cut this a little bit more. And then I kind of open it up a little bit. And then, so these fittings are backwards of what we're all used to. You open it up by turning it backwards to get the fitting all the way open. Then you just literally slide on. And be careful. So that's why I'm pushing it open, and don't squeeze it too hard, because you don't want it to collapse, because once it collapses, it's really hard to do. So it's slid on, and then you just tighten down the fitting.
So I think you're getting the gist of what that's like. So now I'm going to take you back and let's look around and see what all the different sessions that are in here. Okay. So, and I'm sharing my screen, y'all. So just bear with me as I figure this out a little bit more. So one more click. So when you log into your online course, this is where you land. Let me just make sure it is still showing to you guys. Okay, so this is where you land. And it has a welcome here, how to use your course syllabus. A course syllabus, y'all, is literally the table of contents. This is where you'll see all the handouts right here. We have a bonus course inside Flower Farm and School, the basics. There's a Cool Flower Field Growers Report, which is an interactive, actually a little bonus. There's how you access the private Facebook group. And then there's resources and downloads. Now let's look. There's 6 classes, as I mentioned. And so here's class 1. Look at all these sessions. And so there's 8 sessions in there, and you click on each one, and each one of those is like the irrigation we looked at. Here are the bonus frequently asked questions. There are literally thousands of questions that have been submitted and answered in here by recording, which are time stamped. So you can actually look for them. And here's a bonus, when to hire. That's something I added in. Here's class 2, building and managing the working cutting garden. Again, look at all these sessions now. Making beds. I teach you how to make beds by hand, how to make beds using a walk-behind tiller, and then how to make beds with a tractor. Kind of like how you evolve, right? And see right here where it says show more? Click that because, y'all, there are more sessions. There's page 2 that has, look at here, there's even more sessions. There's the irrigation we were just looking at. I mean, there's just so much in here. And then here's all the frequently asked questions related to that class. And here are bonus trainings, weed control, the no-till beds, the no-till planting, when to use support netting. There's just literally, I feel really confident saying that if you're gonna have a hard time finding things that aren't answered in these classes that are pertain to these topics. Selling what you grow. It talks about potential customers and takes you there. And friends, look at this. Click the gallery below. You know what this is? We provide images to our students to use for marketing until they get their own. All of these you can use on social media, your website. They're all just high resolution, good quality images for you to market your flowers until you get up and growing, right? So, and it tells you how to save those. So that's something that we have added. Let's see. There is just so much rich. Look at all these bonuses. Market display, missing markets. A lot of these happen based on questions that I was getting from students, right? Class 4, what to grow. Again, look at all these sessions. Lots of frequently asked questions. Bonus training. Class 5 is starting seeds. How do you know when to start seeds or purchase plants? We have a session on that. How to start and grow inside, soil blocking, how to plant seeds in the garden. I mean, friends, we really cover all the basics, and look at all these bonuses here. Watering, sprouting, and even the Swift blocker. And then class 6 is harvesting and conditioning flowers. And we really go through all the practices, tips for warm season, tips for cool season. Again, tons of questions and bonus trainings. And So then we have some wrap up videos in here and just some resources. And let's see what's here. Sometimes, and then we have certificates and things and badges that folks really love to actually to show that they have completed the course. So the content is deep and wide. And again, if you can't find, we actually have in the welcome of the course, how to use the course is part of how we help you with that, because we feel like onboarding, helping you move, the more you move around the course, the more you're going to discover. And we recommend to people, I like to go in and print out all the handouts from whatever course I'm taking, put a 3-ring binder, put it all together, put some extra papers in to do notes, and go at it. And the other thing is, and I'm going to stop sharing this for just a minute and we'll go to Dave's class. And let's see, I guess I should be up here, right? You can listen to all the course content as a podcast, because you can listen on your phone app, you can listen on a tablet, you can listen on a laptop or a desktop. And we find it's just so invaluable. We have a phone app, and on the phone app, you can actually listen to all the sessions as podcasts. And I don't know about you, but I listen to the same things I'm trying to learn several times. I mean, you can watch it once or watch it twice or not even watch it at all sometimes and listen. And that's where you gain it while you're driving down the road, while you're harvesting, right? So there is such great value in that. So the course that we just looked at was the basics. That is getting set up and growing annuals and getting some customers and getting the cash flowing. So now let me take you into Dave's course. You know, it's just miraculous that I know how to do this. You just don't know how non-techie I am. Let's see which one. Now, here's Dave's course. All right, so we're going to go right in. I'm going to show you this session. This is his tulip course. Or the tulip session, which everybody wants to grow tulips, right? So let's just watch this for a couple of minutes, and I'll show you I'm going to show you how it works, but I won't leave it on, how you can speed up the speaker, and you will learn that you can probably, like I do, listen to double time and still fully understand, so you can cram more in. So let's do that. So let me get over here and share it.
It's about 6 or 7 inches deep and about 3 to 4 feet long, and put that soil in a wheelbarrow. And you take that to the other end of your bed that you're planting in, lay out your bulbs, and then use the next section of soil that you're going to dig.
See, right down here on this little button, I have it at 1.5 speed.
And then your very last section, you'll cover that with the wheelbarrow full of dirt at the other end. The picture on the screen right now was not done that way. That was done just digging the whole trench, tilling it again and digging it again. But that way you're actually digging all the soil twice. Whereas if you do it the other way by putting the wheelbarrow load at the other end of the bed, you're only digging each shovelful of soil one time instead of twice. When you're planting the tulips in the trench, you want to dig 7 to 8 inches deep. Don't go too wide. I've seen people do beds that were 4 feet wide, 4.5 feet wide, because then when they're blooming, you can't reach the middle without stepping on them. Nobody's arms are that long to reach the middle of a 4-foot bed and pull a tulip. So you usually want to stick about 30 inches or 36 inches wide. You want to put the bulbs down in what's called egg crate spacing, basically almost as close as they are in a crate of eggs. If you look in this picture here, this is about 30 inches wide, and there's 12 or 13 bulbs across, and probably 8 bulbs every foot. So you got a lot of bulbs in a small space by doing the egg crate spacing. You plant them like that. Cover up the soil. Make sure your soil is kind of loose. Don't put big, heavy clods back onto it. Water it really well until it's muddy and soaking wet, because you're probably not going to water them again until next spring. And then you want to protect them from the deer. Deer will like tulips, and they will find them growing up before you even know they're growing in the spring. The deer will be eating them off. So you want to either protect them with a deer fence. If you don't have that, you can also protect a small patch of tulips with just using the support netting. If you know it's the flower support netting, use a 4 foot wide and use it as a fence about a foot away from the bed all the way around, and they can't jump over it because there's no room to land. That'll protect the tulips from the deer. Tulip bulbs basically come, the standard size is size 12 plus, which is 12 centimeter. Sometimes the crop is a little small, and you might have some size 11, but you never want to get anything smaller than that. Some places sell you a size 9 or 10 tulip. You just don't want that because it's going to give you a small stem, smaller flower. Now, one advantage of growing tulips, they're a really easy crop to force early in a tunnel. Basically, you plant them in the ground in a tunnel and leave the tunnel open all winter. Another option is to plant it in the open field, put up the hoops in the fall, and then cover them with plastic in the spring, early spring, to get them growing sooner than usual. Basically, you want to close.
So Dave's class, which goes crop by crop, is loaded with his incredible tips. And so let's take a look. Let me go back over to the course, and I want to take you out and show you how his class is set up. So that was a test of the tulips. So here's where you land when you're a student and you log into your online course. This is where you land. Again, there's a welcome. There's where you get access to the private community, which is how you ask questions, and that is how you build your community up with the other students, right? And so class 1 is bulbs. Actually, there's 2 classes on bulbs, I think. And you can see the sessions are broken out by the different crops that he's going to go to. And again, see right here where it says see more, there's a second page of sessions. And so there's more bulbs right there. And then again, he also has frequently asked questions that are the recordings of him answering, and they have just so many questions and so much information, y'all. It is just pretty phenomenal. And then here's class 2, and it's more bulbs. Freesias, anemones, ranunculus, muscari, amaryllis, calla lilies, callas. And look here, show more. There's more bulbs, y'all. You have to scroll down to get to them, to page 2. And then there's minor bulbs, and that's a couple of different bulbs that aren't quite as popular, there's not so much information, so they don't have their own class. Let me get back to where we were. One more click. All right, so there's bulb class 2. Then class 3 is perennials. Peonies, baptismia, astilbes, hellebores, and again, there's show more. Let's see what's on the second page. The second page has mountain mint, phlox, enops, digitalis. There's just so many, and having the knowledge or the access to the resources to know which varieties, and even more importantly than that, is where should you get them and what size should you actually get. And so class 4 is more perennials, y'all. So here's salvia, sedum, and there's a second page of perennials. Again, more frequently asked questions. And then his woody plants. These are the things like hydrangeas. There's 2 different sessions because he covers both group of hydrangeas, those that bloom on new growth and those that bloom on old growth, and they get totally different treatments. Willows, dogwoods, hollies, viburnum, lilacs. And there's another second page, y'all. Let's look and see what's over there. Magnolia, quince, weigelia, forsythia, nandina, and there's other miscellaneous woodies. So these are all, and as he tells you out of the gate, you would never try to plant all the things that he talks about. He talks about adding 10 new varieties of year of a mix of all of these different things. And then in his class 6, y'all, Dave gives you a taste of growing in high tunnels. the basic building, what low and temporary tunnels, shade structures, a greenhouse, which is different than a hoop house, right? Greenhouses typically have heat and venting, all about a cool vault, which is a type of cooler you can use. And then brokers explain, that's where you buy plugs from. And again, more questions and answers. There's wrap up Q&As. And all of this is in Dave's course. And again, if you have specific questions, you just go to the Facebook community. Now, let me come over here. And I'm just trying to think of what else I should mention about this. So the thing about this bundle is that all of our online courses for our schools, our big schools, include these private communities, which means you have access to your instructor. And that's indefinitely, y'all. I mean, that is just so different than what most others are. And because what I was going to say is, if you've never started a business, maybe you're a parent, think of it that way. The problems or the challenges that you're facing when you bring your newborn baby home are so totally different than when they turn 2, than when they turn 6, than when they turn 13. Think of how different it is. Imagine having resources that as your business grows and develops, you have a resource where you can not only go back into the content and probably find the answer, but you have access to the professionals to ask that question of something that you don't know the answer to, that you're up against. A new variety, maybe that's what it is, right? That has come out since the course was made. That is, to me, perhaps the priceless part of these online courses, is having the backup to know that you can have your questions answered, because that's where we build courage and grit. And for anybody that's thinking, I just don't know if I can do it, friends, if I can start and build a flower farm, I was barely a gardener. I live in the middle of the city, and I have built a successful flower farm. Where there's a will, there's a way. And we would love to be able to help you do that. And there are so many different models and ways to sell flowers. And I want to take you over to the bundle page to see some testimonials. But I just want to say, for the person that's thinking, how many flowers could you sell? Right? Because that's a really frequent flyer question. I faced that a lot when I was starting my flower farm from my own family. They're like, okay, maybe people buy a bouquet every now and then. Friends, the cut flower industry in the United States alone is like over $8 billion a year. A year. The only question is how are you going to get your piece of that? 80% of that is imported from other countries. Dave and I both agree on this wholeheartedly. There is no ceiling in our lifetime. As long as we're importing 80% of the product that's being sold for $8 billion in this country, there's room for more growers. The key is, are you going to be a professional grower, which is what will set you apart, which is how it'll make you profitable, which means you can still be doing it year 5, year 10, year 15, and year 20, like we did. And that's the real big difference. And having the confidence to charge the proper amount and to be able to handle and talk to your customers, to have the confidence, just helps to know, A, you have good resources to rely on, but more importantly, you have a community to go to say, oh my gosh, I'm doing this weekend and I'm just not sure what to do. To have other students, because what happens in the student communities, we have people that have been flower farming for many years now. And we have new people. We have a full range. And when you come in, those people just fall in with you, right? And help support you. And so you'll have people at your level and you have people ahead of you. And then after a year, you have people behind you. And it's just an amazing community. And when you have that kind of support, it gives you the confidence to do what I never dreamed I would be able to do this, you know? So let's take a look. Let me take you over Stand by, y'all. Okay, I gotta stop doing this. And now let's go over and look at the bundle page. All right. So I'm going to lose me so we can make it bigger. So when you go over to the gardenersworkshop.com, at the top of every page until midnight tonight, y'all, that's when the offer expires, you can just click right here, learn more, and it'll take you to this page. So this is the bundle. And right here at the top, you can, if you're ready to jump in, there's the enroll now button. And here's the payment plan button. We do have a 2-pay and a 4-pay plan. So that is an option if you need that. We would love to help you do whatever it takes to get into school if you want to start or hit the reset button or get your business expanding. So this gives you the lowdown, right? You get immediate access to both of our courses. The courses are self-paced. You can start whenever it's convenient for you, and you have lifetime unlimited access, and that includes the private communities. And you're going to save $395 on this bundle. And I can tell you what Dave and I both say. So it's $995. Right now we're thinking, all right, what do we have to do or sell to make $995? Friends, you will recoup that so many times over if you actually apply what you learn in here to avoid mistakes and to build your business and get it started. Now, see right here where it says sneak a peek, those 2 sessions that we peeked at on my little tour? You can actually watch the full videos, right? Come back to this page and go to the sneak peek. Mine is using the irrigation and the suppliers list, and his is the production of tulips for cut flowers. Now, here's a great comparison of what my course offers and what his course offers. So you can see here, I'm the green, he's the blue, and how to start and run a flower farm. That's my course. Building and managing a working garden. Selling what you grow, what annual flowers to grow, and that includes cool flowers and warm flowers. But I will say this, cool flowers, which is a huge cash crop because they bloom in spring, the biggest demand of the year. These have a list. I think there's 20 in here that I suggest growing. That is a much deeper subject. And we have additional resources that are not included in this course for cool flowers because they are a course in themselves. But this gets you started and gets you going. Then there's a seed starting class, doing it commercially and harvesting and conditioning. All of those, you can see the check marks, are in my class. None of those are in Dave's class. In Dave's class, see, these aren't in mine. You're looking at bulb crops, part 1 and part 2, perennial crops, part 1 and part 2, woodies, and then class 6 is farm structure basics. You have lifetime online access to both of them. Normally they're $695, and until midnight tonight, they are on a special offer for $995. So there's some additional information here. Now, there's even more information available to you, but let's look at this first. See right here, you can watch it on a desktop, a laptop, a tablet, and on our mobile app, which is free. You just download the app and log in, and that really makes it convenient. So here's more information about our individual classes. So here's mine, and see right here where it says learn more, you can click that and it'll take you to my regular course page, and there's so much information over there. The syllabus is there, which is the table of contents. And here is the same for Dave's. And it tells you mine has 54 video sessions, 34 bonus sessions, 40 printouts. Dave's has 86 videos, 70 flowers covered, and 24 handouts. And then, friends, this is really what I really wanted you to see is what people are saying. These are our students talking about the classes. And I recommend you read them. You can go to our individual courses pages and read even more of those. There's no better testimonial, right, than people that have actually taken the courses. And we have not paid people for reviews, y'all. We simply ask for them, and our students have come through. So again, to recap, regular prices for separate, if you bought the courses outside of the bundle special, they're $1,390. This offer that ends tonight at midnight is $995. That is a $395 savings. You know, this is a unique opportunity. This is what it says. I'm not saying this about myself, y'all. Somebody else wrote it. A unique opportunity to learn from two leading experts on the go, along with lifetime access to all course material. And friends, I want to just also mention that we give a 7-day money-back guarantee. Within 7 days of you purchasing, if you reach out to us via email and request a refund, we have a no questions asked policy. If you get it and it's like, you know what, this is not what I thought, that's no problem. We understand that. You know why we offer it? Because we know you're going to love the course. And again, you can enroll here or do the payment plan. So over at thegardenersworkshop.com, you'll see the gold banner through midnight tonight to access this special page and to enroll now. And friends, I just can't even tell you how the jitters, the scare, you might not even recognize it as scare. You just think it's not possible. But I'm here to tell you, it seems impossible. Then it gets just hard, and then you're doing it. And then when you conquer those steps, you're going to move on in your business. And guess what? You're going to refer back to your course again and actually find the answers in here. And if you can't, you can ask your instructor. And if you have questions about the course, please post it in the comments. Jessie's collecting them. I'll be happy to try to answer those for you. And I see she has one. Rachel's asking, are Cool Flowers covered in this bundle, or will I need to purchase the Cool Flower course in addition? That's a great question, Rachel. So as I mentioned earlier, so in my course, the basics, which is all about annuals, it does go into not all the Cool Flowers, but some of them, and how to seed starting and timing and all of that. But as you may know, Cool Season Hardy annuals and figuring out when you plant them and the best time is really kind of an awkward journey, right? And so we did make a separate course. It's called Cool Flowers from Seed to Vase. And I highly recommend that. It is not included with this course. It's, I don't know how much it is. I think it's $349 regular price. But it's that's the group of flowers, and I believe it is 31 or 36 flowers. I can't quite remember. These are the flowers that bloom in the highest demand season, and each individual flower takes you from how to start it. It's full of in the field demonstrations here on the farm of cutting and harvesting. So yes, the basics really get you starting with Cool Flowers. But once you get all this other stuff under your belt, we can't dump but so much information into one course because people will never get it all taken in, right? So my recommendation is you start here. Of course, my book, the Cut Flower Handbook, also has detailed Cool Flower, Cool Season growing in there. And then once you are up and running, then tackle the Cool Flowers Seed to Harvest course, because I will tell you that we have people, I just did a live, I think it was over in my membership, and one of the questions that I had is I had a member in there that a model that's really coming out in flower farming is people that are only growing Cool Flowers and really producing heavy for the spring season into early summer, and then shutting their production down for the summer months, right? So it's a big deal. And so thank you for that great question. And you'll find that you'll get a good start in the basics. But we have others, deeper resources available to you when you go from there. So friends, tonight's the last night at midnight. It's $995. We do offer a 2-pay and a 4-pay payment plan, and we love providing that to you to make it affordable. And the thing about, what we really try, Dave and I are big believers, and you don't need to go into debt to start your flower farm when you take some pretty, I don't want to say smart steps, but steps recommended by those that have gone before you. Launching your flower farm with annuals, which will give you the biggest bang for your buck and low investment, high return, will feather your nest to do other things. And those other things at the end of the first year is, as Dave will tell you, you got to buy peonies. If you think you're in this thing, you've got to start, getting your peony production. 25 plants at a time is quite doable, right? And we just love providing this, and for not making a way that you have to go in debt to actually do this. When you take it step by step, instead of what we see so many people doing, and we actually lose so many potential excellent cut flower farmers. The possibility of being a cut flower farmer is they rush to the end result in a way I really love to explain it. We're all still in an elementary school. I kind of feel like people 5 years and under are really still in elementary school. You might be growing a lot of stuff and you might be growing flowers, but you haven't balanced all the balls yet. You haven't been doing it long enough, right? Catastrophes and facing really big problems. We're in elementary school. Then that 5 to 10 years, we're moving up to maybe middle school and getting into high school, right? And then after 10 years, we're really getting into graduate work. We see so many people, because a lot of them are just have the funds available to them to do it, just march right into graduate school, and you just never hear from them again after a year or two, because it just really didn't work out. It's really disappointing to you and to your family or whoever is your support system to invest a lot, work your butt off, and have a lot of great flowers, but you really don't have a customer roster up yet. You don't have people to sell to, because that's really part of why we tell you to start with annuals, because you're going to learn how to farm, and you're going to learn how to sell and who to sell to and how to harvest and condition them so that they want to buy your flowers. And that's what this is really just all about, is setting it up in a way that you can succeed, to go through the courses in a manner that sets you up to be a successful flower farmer. And I just really would love to have you in school, love to see you in there. And so the bundle's available till midnight. It's $995. You get unlimited immediate access. You have lifetime access as long as we have internet. And you also have lifetime access to our private student communities where the support is absolutely phenomenal. And we have a 2 and a 4 payment plan. And we have a phone app that is free to download. It's called, if you search your phone app store, Gardener's Workshop. There's 2 apps. We have a shop app, which is really a lot of fun. That's like QVC, y'all, but it's us with our stuff. And there's a Learn app. The Learn app is where your courses would be housed. That's also where my private membership is. But we have a free online course in there for you. It's building trellis tunnels, how I built that long trellis tunnel here on my farm. That's in there ready and waiting for you. But when you have the app, what a lot of our students love to say is that they have the answers in their back pocket, because they have their phone with them all the time. As long as you have cell signal, you can look up stuff out in your field. As you're planting, Jonalyn Carver of Blossom Lane down in Florida, who was one of our first students who is just crushing it down there, she talks about that her staff is literally out in the field planting different perennials and bulbs, and they're stopping and looking up stuff in Dave's course. And, that's music to our ears. So friends, I hope to see you in flower farming school. And let's see, I think it looks like I might have another question. Oh, Rachel. Do you touch on the different revenue streams in flower farming, agritism, you pick farmers market, retail, wholesale, sales to florists? Yes. Class 3 is who do you sell to? And we touch on all. I haven't done agritourism, but that is something that we could definitely talk about in the Facebook group. You could ask that question. I don't have a lot of experience with it, but you pick farmers market, retail, wholesale. I also include my members only on farm market, which was a huge cash cow for us for 20 years. Bouquet subscriptions. So yes, we speak to all of these different models and who the potentials are. And we've added some, when we went through COVID, we added touch contactless ways to sell your flowers because y'all, we left all that stuff in there. All the COVID stuff is in there because we flipped for us personally, our members only market. They used to come into this building on Friday mornings, it was private, only the members who had already prepaid coming to get and make their flowers. We had to make them stay outside and have the stuff on the porch. And we go through all of that. And we also talk about the importance of building your email list, which so many flower farmers think, oh my gosh, I have social media and I'm going to the farmer's market. Well, guess what? When COVID hit, if you didn't have direct contact with your customers to send them emails to say, hey, I've got vegetables or I got flowers, you can pick them up off my porch. Here's the link to buy them. And then I'll put them out and you pick them up. We cover all that stuff. So thank you for asking that, Rachel. But yes, if you're not selling your flowers, you're just a gardener with a lot of flowers. So we definitely help you seal the deal by actually selling your flowers. So thanks so much for actually asking that. So friends, once again, Jessie has put the link, I'm sure, here in the feed, but you can go to thegardenersworkshop.com. It's at top of every page. It ends tonight. It's the best. We haven't offered this deal of $995 for my course and Dave Dowling's course. And we offer a 7-day money-back guarantee. We have a 2 and a 4 payment plan. So we really make it so you don't take any risk if you have the option to get your money back within 7 days via email request. And you have lifetime unlimited access. And so I hope to see you, friends, in school. Would love to have you in our community. And friends, until we meet again, ciao.